Hey everyone, this is Primetime Vinyl and I'm Nick. Today I'm going to jump on the vinyl tag for 2023, and this was Rob Walker that posted this originally. I watched Chris Proffi's video this morning already, and I look forward to watching everybody else's video. Let me get started with question number one, favorite new release of 2022, and that would be Omens by Lamb of God. Just a really great album. I already talked about it a little bit on my top 10 of 2022. Next up is the last band or solo artist that I saw live. The last show that I actually went to was the Aftershock Festival, so I saw a ton of bands, but one of the favorites that I saw live that weekend was In Flames. Just amazing live. I hadn't seen them before, so I was very glad that I got the opportunity to see them. The next question is, their first album was the best, and for that I went with 4 Year Strong with their first album, Rise or Die Trying. They're a pop punk slash hardcore tinge pop punk band from, I believe, Boston, and that's their first album, and I believe it's their best. Coming up next, Hat Trick. I actually don't collect anything but vinyl, so I don't have any CDs or cassettes, so I can't answer that question. After that, the next question is album that starts and ends with the same letter. It's pretty easy for me. Is Anima from Tool, a GRAIL of mine and an amazing album. Coming up next, Born the Same Year as Me. That would be Exodus with Fabulous Disaster. Came out in 1989, the first year, or the same year as I was born. Coming up next, most listened to album in 2022, as well as most listened to artist, because they're both the same for me, and that's Coheed and Cambria with their Vaxxus 2 album. My favorite artist of all time currently, and for the past, 10 years. Coming up next is an Australian artist or band, and I went with Parkway Drive. This is their album Ire. They're a metalcore, metal-ish band from Australia. Next up is surprising purchase of 2022. I picked Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers live at the Fillmore. Of course, I love Tom Petty, and I know that all of his releases are great. The thing that surprised me about this was how great it sounded. I'm not really big on live albums, but this one definitely surprised me with how good the sound quality was. Alright, so coming up next, an artist or band that I am complete on. Again, that's Coheed and Cambria. I have every one of their studio albums, as well as their 7 inches. And again, my favorite band currently, Coheed and Cambria. After that, we have a great run of 3 albums. This was pretty easy for me as well. I went with Pantera with their first 3 records. Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display of Power, and Far Beyond Driven. All 3 of these are just some of the best metal albums ever. So, Pantera. Coming up next is an 80s soundtrack. I don't really collect a whole lot of soundtracks, but I do have the Flash Gordon soundtrack from Queen. It came out in 1980. Okay, coming up next, We Lost Them in 2022. I picked 2 for this, one because it's really well known, and the other one because it's not super popular artist, but I love them. So I picked Black Dahlia murder. Of course, the singer Trevor died this year in 2022. And of course, Foo Fighters, this year we lost Taylor Hawkins, the drummer. Alright, coming up next, disappointing purchase in 2022. Silverstein's Misery Made Me. I've been a fan of Silverstein since 2004, I believe. This album, however, is their latest in a string of albums that I just can't get behind. Not a big fan. Coming up next, I found a GRAIL. And that would be Cross Purposes. This is also going to be my answer for Show Some VLCT or Present. My wife got me this for my birthday this year. And of course it's a GRAIL, super hard to find. This is an original press. It's not a bootleg or anything like this. 1994 Black Sabbath, Cross Purposes. This is the Tony Martin era, which is my second favorite era of Black Sabbath behind Dio. And the next one is a space-themed album or sleeve. And this is actually the only other soundtrack that I own. And that is Music for 2001, A Space Odyssey, which of course is space-themed. And the last question, show an album released in 1973. Of course, I went with Billy Joel's Piano Man. So, 1973. That is the vinyl tag for 2023. Thank you to Rob Walker. And please remember to like and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing everybody else's vinyl tag videos. Thanks, guys. Bye.